morning.
How is everybody?
Excellent.
Good.
Brianna, you are so awesome. Thank you so much for yesterday.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
She, when I called her, she sounded about this tall, just beat down. Liz, I talked to a potential recruit yesterday and she just adopted. Well, Bree, you can tell her.
She's fostering two
That's
kiddos, ages 8 months and 5.5.
Oh my goodness. I'm
And,
already exhausted.
Right. And so the 5.5-year-old trauma is unfolding and manifesting itself as belligerence and anger towards her and her kids, her bio kids. And so DCS needs to undergird her and the child with resources. And he came to her house with nothing, like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And they just dropped him off and they were like, here.
Wow.
And she can't work. Like, I mean, she's got to I was like, protect your children, protect your sanity. So I'm giving her a list of resources.
And is it just her? Does she have someone helping her?
I didn't ask. I don't think anyone's helping her because she was saying she's the one that has, like with me, even when I was married, it was on me.
Yeah.
So it didn't
It's on
sound like
her.
even if there's,
Yeah, he travels lengthy, like weeks at a time. So it's really her.
Wow.
Yeah.
so, and you know, I told her it's okay if it doesn't work out
Yep.
because you're not DCS's crutch.
Yep.
Boundaries are a good thing. It took me a long time, but that includes boundaries with DCS.
Yep.
And if you feel that you can parent this child, make sure these are the things you ask for.
Wow.
They didn't even tell her where to look for resources.
Really?
Yeah, they just dropped the kid off. Literally, she didn't know that she's entitled to a court-appointed special advocate. The kid is supposed to have a guardian ad litem. She's supposed to have a social worker. He's supposed to have a social worker. What the roles of each one of them are, like nothing.
So I
And
can
she's been struggling for like 6-8 weeks on her own with a child that is absolutely raging. And I mean raging.
Raging.
Like tearing things off the walls, knocking over his furniture, kicking, hitting, biting, punching. I mean, raging child. And it's 5
And
and a half.
he started exhibiting sexual things. So
Oh,
I
God.
was like, protect your kids, remove. Like,
Right.
that's an
Yeah.
absolute non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm surprised well, I don't know if I am surprised that DCCS didn't.
I'm not surprised. They do such bullshit.
I was like, let them know, document it. Because, you know, one, if something happens, God forbid, DCS will be held liable because she told them.
Yeah.
Good. And
Heartbreak.
you always tell anyway.
Do you know if the rules are state to state the same?
They're not.
There's some,
Yeah.
no, they're not. Some are federal and some are state specific.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. And different states have different things. Like in Washington State is a keep the family together at all costs.
That's
And
a federal law. That's a federal law.
it's
Yeah,
a fed. Oh
That's
my
a federal
God.
law.
yeah,
It's horrific.
yeah. It can
But
be really
different
bad.
states interpret it different ways.
Okay. Well, Washington State has got scandal after scandal after scandal because they kept families together when they should not have kept, and you know, everybody was going out there going, you know, this is a mess, you got to fix it. And they're like, nope, we keep family together. It's like, oh God,
Yeah.
it's so messed up. I get why we have it. I think it's very important to have. I think that it's effed up in a lot of places.
Some of the foster kids I had, and I didn't have nearly as many as my cousin and some of you, same situation. They should never have been, they should have been, once they were removed, they should have been separated, period.
Yeah.
And that was never the goal. It was always taking them back to their families.
So
Right.
in Tennessee, we, especially Nashville, because it tends to be more progressive than the rest of the state, they'll do a concurrent goal of return to parent, explore adoption, like, so they'll do a concurrent goal to stay in compliance with the federal goal. but there's
Mhm.
nothing that says that they can't have a concurrent.
Got
So
it.
like Christopher's case where it was like, mom did 9 different drugs, left the baby. It was returned to parents, seek adoption.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. So basically lip service.
Right. Well, and it shows that, DCS was like, we'll give you drug counseling, resources for housing, job, this, that, and the other. We'll offer it. And if she doesn't take it, then quickly they can move to terminate parental rights. It's procedural.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
I was just asking about the state to state stuff because like I said, my cousin has so much experience with this. I mean, and even the job now that she's in Florida, I don't know quite what it is because it sounds like she's a social worker now, but she's through a hospital. But
Yeah.
she's meeting with families. She's back into, instead of being the one training people how to be a parent or having foster kids herself or going through the adoption or going through all those other stuff. She's also doing this. But like I said, I think she's got 13 or 14 kids that she's adopted through the process. And that doesn't count the ones that, she had that did go back to their parents or that, were kids that were foreign exchange students that came into this whole thing, or anything else. So she's got a lot of experience. I didn't know if there was a way maybe she could help whoever you're talking about.
Oh,
Or if she's willing even,
right.
because her plate's pretty full. She also teaches along with that full-time job
Right.
at one of the colleges.
I
up in
think what
Michigan.
this woman needs is she's trying to make a decision of if she can parent. So her first thing is to get things that will like her center.
Yeah,
And then, resources that through
Let's make up the words Bree's saying. Resources
resources
for
too.
children and family so that she can continue. Okay, Bree, I had to make up words for you. Resources for what?
resources that are available to her and the kiddo,
Hmm.
legal, emotional, medical, all that. If she asks for it and they don't give it to her and it continues, I think she just wanted to hear that it is okay to say no.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
Absolutely okay to say no, and DCCS should have assessed all that before they placed. the
She
child.
didn't even finish training. They placed these
I mean, that's,
level 2, 3 kids out of 4 levels with no training.
That's terrible.
It's
Absolutely.
No
horrible.
resources,
That's-
no training.
Yep.
okay, don't even get me started.
Anyway.
Yeah, we probably
I-
shouldn't.
Yeah.
Go ahead, is
I
good.
massively appreciate what you did. I truly, truly, truly do. And once again, this group, whenever people reach out with, hey, can you help with this? Everybody just jumps in and does it. And I was overwhelmed again with the blessings that because I get to be lucky enough to be one of y'all. So it's just a cool thing. So let's dig in today. You guys ready? Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. Last night I was talking with Gary and we were just bouncing through and I was sharing, I said, look, I haven't shared my goals, my vision with you. And he goes, I know Gina's about to fire you. And I'm like, I know. So I went through my goals and stuff. And as we were talking, he said, I wrote this thing. When did he write this? He wrote it in 2012. He goes, I wrote this thing and I want to give it to you because I think it lines up. And he said it was one of those times where, when you wake up in the middle of the night and God just gives you something, he goes, I have learned to get up and write that crap down like immediately. Just write it down because he goes, it's always really, really, really good. And we were talking about the way the conversation came up was Gary references all the time the prayer of Jabez in 1 Chronicles 4 something. And the prayer of Jabez, one of the very first things Jabez prays for, he requests, Lord, please expand my territory. And I thought, that's kind of interesting. What does that really mean? So I dug around to find out what that really meant culturally in ancient Israeli culture. And what expand my territory means, what on face value, it just looks like, give me more land. And land always meant wealth. So that just makes sense. But that's not it. what expand my territory means is please give me more responsibility. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I would like more responsibility and more territory. And I was like, okay, that's really interesting. So that's how the conversation started. So Gary sent me this. So I wanted to read it to you. And then I have another thing. And then I just want to talk about it because I thought it was really interesting. So today God gave me the natural law of being a good, worthy, and responsible custodian for all that he gives me. This natural law applies to all of God's children and hang on, stop dropping the paper jam, and to all of God's plentiful and abundant resources that he entrusts to us. This includes natural resources, plants, animal, earth, water, air, people, and money. For example, if we plant a seed and do not care for it in general, it will have a poor existence and even die. However, if we are good, worthy, and a responsible custodian for it, if we do care for it, if we nurture it by watering it, let the sun shine on it, and weed around it, it will experience abundant growth and a healthy life. Furthermore, God gives us the desire, ability, and responsibility to not only enable natural growth, but to prune wild growth that could later become difficult to care for, and with God's inspiration, help shape a beautiful life that will love itself and love and be loved by all. God will take from you what you are not responsible for, and he will give you more of what you are responsible for. Therefore, you must be responsible for what you desire. Natural law. God will not give you more than you are responsible for. Good news. All that you desire is already given to you. The degree to which you receive, utilize, and benefit from all that God has given you is directly, precisely, and perfectly proportionate to the degree to which you are a good, worthy, and responsible custodian for these very same resources.
Can you
That's
read
awesome.
that again?
Yeah.
You waited the whole 5 minutes for that, Craig. You are right there.
I figure you should just share it with us.
I will
We can
share.
read it on our own.
I will totally share it with you guys.
Plaster it all over our houses.
It blew me away. I was like, holy moly. All I have to do is be responsible for what is given me. And that makes sense. Why would anybody give you more? If anything, you're not responsible for, like, you weren't responsible for this. I'm not giving you, couldn't take care of a cactus. You think I'm going to give you a dog? Any thoughts before I go on to my next thing that I ran across that I was like, and I'm going to connect them together because I think they connect together.
Well,
Well-
I killed a cat.
You killed a cat.
See what?
I'm okay with the dog.
You kill the cactus, you're okay with the dog. That's hilarious. When I was about 22 or 3, I thought I wanted kids, so I got a dog, and then I gave the dog away after 2 weeks because I'm like, I can't do this. And I was like, I am not responsible at 23. I wasn't.
Well, that's a good training. I'd rather have somebody start with a dog than
I thought so
end up with
too.
unwanted children.
I
Yes.
thought so too.
I'm chuckling because my brother lives in a shoebox of an apartment in New York City, and he thought it was a nice gesture to take a friend's Dalmatian puppy when they were leaving the city, moving from the city pre-COVID, with him and his elderly cat. And he realized really quickly that the energy of a Dalmatian puppy, that cat and him did not gel. And he got rid of that thing in a month. And I looked at him like, what did you think was happening?
Dalmatians are the #1 dog in England known for biting.
Really?
I
Yeah,
did
you
not
wouldn't
know
think so,
this.
but yeah.
Yeah,
Listen,
they're biting. Like, I had no idea.
yeah,
They're on the aggressive breeds list. If you look at
Yes.
aggressive breeds.
Oh, wow. Well, I
Yeah.
guess it's a good thing the dog moved on and all.
when I stayed in Philly, my neighbor had 2.
Mhm.
And whenever someone walked past the window, they was like they wanted to come out. I mean,
Rabid.
they were going crazy. Yeah,
Really?
Yep.
yeah,
The,
This movie does
We were-
not include that at all. Does not.
yeah. And biters.
yeah, we raised a lot of dogs, but they were never aggressive. Everything from, we've had Dobies to Keeshonds to Huskies to Labs to Great Danes, but I've had assertive dogs. had a sort of mix that she thought she was the boss, and it was constant battle of you are not the boss. But other than that, I've been really blessed, I guess. Okay, here's the next thing. I saw this guy and I saw him on TikTok actually, and I'm like, what you're saying is brilliant. And he's giving advice. He said, if you want to be a millionaire, you want to be the first millionaire in your family, these are the 3 things you need to do. The first thing you need to do is you need to invest early and you need to invest often. And don't listen to the gurus out there that tell you that you need to have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 to invest. You need $50 or $100, and you need to invest it and let compound interest do the rest. He said, just keep on doing that. Just keep on putting your money into something that you can let compound interest do the rest. The second thing, you need to change your mindset. And that mindset is every time you get money, do not think I can buy this, I can buy this, I can buy this, I can buy this. You need to think, what can I invest in with that money? That's your first thing. What can I invest in? What can I invest in? What can I invest in? The third thing, you have time wasters in your life. Find 3 of them. You know what they are, and get rid of them. And in replacing that, get 2 new skills and do that every single month for 6 months. He goes, you'll be totally on your way. You will absolutely be on your way. And I, again, was like, all right, here we go. And for me personally, like I invested in life insurance because that compounds in 10 years and it doubles. And I'm like, okay, I like that. That's really, really good. And then I have the properties, but that's not going to compound out I need to put more money into the second one to get it so I can rent it out. So that's more money going out right now. And the time waster thing, I'm going to go actively back and go find, some more of those time wasters to get those out and to continue getting those out. Whatever's sucking my time that is not giving me the ROI needs to go bye-bye, period. Just period. I hadn't thought about replacing it with new skills, but I like that also, with maybe picking up and learning something new, which I hadn't thought of with extra time. So.
Say the third one again. I won't ask for the whole thing.
I'm
it's
going
so
to ask
easy.
the whole thing.
Invest-
Tack it on to the email you're sending, please.
All right. Invest early and often. Change your
that.
mindset to buy, not buy, but go invest. As soon as you get money, it's what can I invest? And then the third one is get rid of 3 time wasters. You know what they are. Get rid of them. You're on your way. You know the plan. Go.
I'm going to offer something that's really easy for the first 2. There's a book called and I think he still does the podcast, I'm not sure, his blog post, called The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. And he wrote it for his daughter when she was graduating college to kind of help her with her financial path and simplifying everything that was out there in the landscape. And it literally boils down to like 4 buckets. And it's exactly what you said, like just feed these buckets often and consistently. And in 10 or 15 years, you'll be good to go. So it's like, you have a cash bucket that's you can get access to easily. You have a brokerage account, you have, your 401, your IRAs. And then I forget what the 4th bucket is. I don't know why it's escaping me right now, but it was a very simple blueprint for how to save $50, $100, and just keep feeding those buckets until you get to a certain savings rate. And then in 10 or 15 years, invested in the right vehicles, you can just start, the dividends, reinvesting the dividends or living off that, or just moving on to your next thing and not worrying about, and keep doing that with every job that you have and not worry about, finances, quite frankly. I think unpacking the whole scene is the most exhausting thing. But it's
And what's the name of that book?
The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. He used to do a blog. I'm not sure if he's still doing it. And he has a website, and he does a lot of, he does a stock series too, if you want to invest in the stock market, but it's one of the most phenomenal books I have ever come across. And I tell everyone to read it, because if you want to simplify what the financial landscape looks like and just get down to the buckets you need to know, that's the book that did it for me.
I love it. Let's just keep on working on the money thing, because I love this. The thing that Greg and I did a long time ago to get a bunch of debt paid off was we did the envelope system. And so we set our budgets every month, at the beginning of the month, we put all our money into certain envelopes, like this is much for going out, this is for rent, electricity, food, whatever. And when let's say the going out date night envelope was empty for the month, the date night envelope was empty. We went on free dates or we did not go on dates. And it really forced us to, one, pay cash. And the beauty with paying cash for things is it fires a different section of your brain than credit card. Credit card fires endorphins. Cash does not do that. Paying cash does not fire any endorphins. Paying cash feels like pain. And which is interesting because it's the same money, but it fires different stuff in your brain. And also it kept you exactly on budget, literally exactly on budget. So that was the first thing that we did. And then the second component to that was we did the roll snowball. We did the snowball method of paying off our debt. There's two different ways of paying off debt. There's a bunch of different ways, but there's two main ones that most people do. The first one is they look at their debt, they pick the highest interest rate and they just start hitting everything at that. And then they get that one off and they work down to the next interest rate. Snowballing doesn't do that. Snowballing says, look at your debt. So let's say you've got 5 main things of debt: a car, a student loan, and 3 credit cards. Don't worry about what the interest rate is. Take the smallest one, whatever that is, pay everything you can towards that, get rid of it. Snowball this money. Let's say you were paying $600 a month towards this, and take your $600 a month and slap it onto the next smallest one. And you keep on working your way up to your minimum payment this one, but your massive payment this one, and then massive payment, you keep on the minimum payment, you keep on working away until the whole thing's gone. So snowballing method is the one that we used also to get all that taken care of.
Yeah. And that's the way I've heard it traditionally, but then here lately I heard a different way to do it. And they were saying pay off the was it the low interest rates first?
Low interest rates first?
No, high.
Was it
It's the high.
The high, okay.
Pay off the high
Yeah.
interest, because then your money is working for you more.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Because I was always doing the lowest balance. I wasn't paying attention to the
Interest rate. Yeah. We went to go take out a loan for one of our houses. I don't remember, maybe San Francisco, whatever. Anyway, and they came to us and they said, your DTI doesn't quite match up. We want you to pay off your car. And I was like, nope. And they're like, you have to do that to get the loan. I'm like, figure out something else. That's a 0 interest rate. I'm not paying that puppy off. I'll pay off anything else you want me to pay off. Don't care. And they went back and reworked it and were like, fine, pay this off. I'm like, okay. Like, because it doesn't make sense to pay off a 0 interest loan. It just
Right.
doesn't. Why would I do that? I would go pay off the stupid, whatever the credit card's charging me. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anything else? Don't care. So, yeah. And then to be like really honest, I have credit card debt. So, and I did that accidentally when I purchased the property. I did private funding, but I didn't do enough for the repairs. Stupidly, do not do what Gina did. So I put those on credit cards. So now I was just last night looking at my credit cards going, okay, hang on. I need to get a plan of attack to get these things beat down again. And do I want to snowball or do I want to go highest interest rate? And for me, I'm going to go highest interest rate and just start working on that thing and then getting that thing down and then working my way down and then snowballing to the next interest rate and the next interest rate.
Is there another method?
Borrowing out on the house or anything else and then paying them all off at once.
Actually, this is
Yep.
from a community I have followed for many years called Choose FI, and FI is financial independence. They have a podcast and a ton of resources, so get ready to go down a rabbit hole if you go to the website. But one of the methods they talk about is that exactly what you said, Gina, with that, either using a personal loan or a home equity line of credit, paying all your monthly bills towards that, do a cash accumulation all month, don't spend anything in your checking account, and just pay off your HELOC every month. They talk about doing that with a credit card. If you have a credit card that can bear the expenses that you take in every month, you're spending and everything every month, put everything on the credit card or a couple of credit cards. Just don't spend anything out of your income that's coming in, and pay those cards off every month. And you will see both your credit score increase, the debt go away more quick. And if you look at the debt, they also say, look at your debt or your spending. When you're looking to spend, ask yourself if it's an investment. Is this an investment you want to spend? Instead of thinking, oh, I need to get this and accumulating just stuff. Ask yourself, is this dollar spend worth the investment? And I do this with my boys all the time because I'm a huge fan of cash in the envelope system. I
Mhm.
tell them, I put it in their hands
Uh-huh.
so they can feel the energy of it versus
Yep.
the cards and the stuff that they
It
think
has no energy.
everything magically just appears.
Yep.
I will tell you, it's a little lost on this current generation with all the technology, you know, putting the cash in hand. But for me, I have a hard time parting with it. Like, I
Mhm.
really think about what I'm spending it on before I part with
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
It does do something to your mindset.
Uh-huh. It really does. It really
Let
does.
me throw something out to you all. I don't know if you read it, but Biden signed an order that basically is looking at putting us all on an electronic payment system and getting rid of the cash ability to pay cash.
Biden signed this?
Yes, yes.
Fortunately, that's happening already in a lot
And
of.
it's
Yeah, it is.
happening already.
Little
And
credit.
the American people really don't want it. But I mean, if you look at the part of the end of times, that's how they get you. But
Yeah.
they said that when I talked to my financial broker about it, and she said, yes, it's true, because people were saying, you know, when they talk about, you know, this big thing that's going to happen in this, you know, watch out, watch out, watch out. This is part of what they're talking about. And you need to have assets that, you know, aren't trackable. And they said one of the things you need to do is to pay cash. And right now the law is people have to accept cash. They can't
Right.
tell you can just pay by credit card. So pay by cash and we'll keep our system. But
If
yeah,
you can, I was in a merchant yesterday that wouldn't take cash. So like, we're
well,
cashless.
he's
And I'm like, I don't
violating the
care.
law. It's
I'm like,
against
I
the
don't
law.
care that you're cashless. If you want your money, you're gonna take this away. Like, I was like, I refuse because I think that's ridiculous.
What doesn't take
Yeah.
cash anymore?
Crumble, the cookie company?
Crumble doesn't take cash?
It's credit card only now.
Well, and if you
Crumble
think
is a
it,
cookie
if
company.
you- I'm sorry, go ahead.
Crumble
Crumble,
doesn't take cash anymore?
that's what my husband just said.
No.
I don't know what crumble is.
It's a cookie company. It's the
Yeah.
most amazing cookie
You're like
company. But
the size
apparently,
of your head and they change flavors every week. They're fantastic. It's a fantastic business model, but if they're not taking cash, we'll see how quickly that goes.
Yeah,
Hey,
well, if
Liz.
you think about the
Well-
fact that Starbucks is taking crypto.
Yeah, that's
You
for
know,
a whole other scene.
And Starbucks has a bank.
Yes.
I know they work through Chase. I didn't know they had a bank.
They have their own credit card and everything. You can actually put money onto Starbucks bank, into Starbucks bank.
Yeah, my
mean,
son.
I have
No,
Starbucks,
Gina, don't do it.
no, I have a Starbucks credit card, but it's a Chase credit card with Starbucks
Gotcha.
branding or whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
I-
be careful who,
Good
I'm
point.
just gonna say, be careful who you're banking with. too. I just shut my Chase account down yesterday because I am done with them and their shenanigans. But, yeah, Starbucks does have their own kind of, it's not bad, but they got their own thing going on. My son works for them and I was like, what? And he has no idea what is being offered to him. I'm like, okay, you need to start, I'm gonna just be doing all the things and you're gonna sign because they have some pretty darn good benefits for them.
Yeah.
They do.
So
They-
Liz, I was gonna ask, the example you gave, what were you saying you do with your boys with the money, with the cash?
And when I get paid, I always take out the cash that I'm gonna spend on groceries or whatnot in cash out of the machine and then whatever I'm moving to my other savings account. And I take it and I put it in their hands. And I don't know if you can see, but I purposely put it in large bills, $100 bills, and I lay them in their hands and I said, now sit with that. I just want you to feel the energy of that. And of course, they're all excited because they see the dollar denomination isn't 1, it's 100.
Yeah,
Huh?
But when I take them into the store and I say, okay, you know, you can, that's, you know, I don't do this now, they're teenagers, they can take care of their own funding sources, but like I said, you know, that's your money. If you're going to the book fair at school or whatever, that's your money, period. And you'd be amazed. One of them is just his mind is like, where's the stuff? Where's the stuff? Which irritates me. And the other one is a saver. He'll like, oh, he really thinks, I don't think I need that, but he'll save for bigger things. And their birthdays are both around the holiday, the end of the year. So one's in December, one's in January. And without fail, my youngest will save every penny he has to get what he really wants. If he doesn't, if he knows it's not a good ask for the family to contribute to, because it's just like a tchotchke thing. And the youngest the oldest gets it in his hand and he's constantly thinking like, oh, I can get my next thing, when he is the one that like
Goodbye.
stresses me out.
Goodbye.
Stresses me out, but it does change the mindset. Like one is just very much, and the other one is with all the Apple Pay and all the stuff that they have, they don't, honestly, I don't know that they know how to transact in cash.
Yeah,
No, they really don't. Like, they don't know how to count change. Many
they don't.
people don't know how to count
Drives
change.
me crazy.
When-
And they don't understand these prepaid cards and the cost of activation and what it's costing them to
Exactly.
access
Exactly.
to a
There's that.
card.
too. When my kids were little, there was two things that I did, not little, but older little. The first thing that I did, well, that's the second. The last thing I did with my son was a horrible person to take shopping because he never liked anything and he was really picky and he wanted like the really expensive shoes and all that kind of stuff. And it was fine when he wore an 8, a 9, 10, and 11, but when he went up to 12s and 13s, it was really hard to find shoes for this kid, and 14s. And I mean, they kept on growing, right? And so I had it one day and he could drive. And I literally said, here's how much money you have, go buy your own damn shoes. And he was like, you're not going with me? And I'm like, no, I'm done shopping with you. Like, you're horrible to shop with. You don't like anything, you know? And that kid went to, oh God, I can't remember, the Big Five, I think it was. And he negotiated his shoes because he
Exactly.
did not. And I was like, so he learned negotiation. He got 2 pairs of shoes that he liked. And he literally told him, he's like, I'm not paying that. What's the best you can do? And got the price of his shoes down at Big Five. I was
Okay.
like, dude, you keep on going.
You want to hear something brilliant? I heard last night at my financial women's meeting, which I loved.
Yeah.
My fellas aren't great about keeping the house in order. They throw their, dirty clothes don't make the hamper despite the lid being off in the hamper.
They can play basketball,
Everywhere,
but they can't make
trash
a
everywhere.
hamper.
It's just ridiculous. So I am done picking up all their stuff and begging them to like put it away at all their places. So I started telling them, I said, here's how it's gonna go. Every time I have to put your stuff in the hamper or clean up after you, I'm gonna take, because I'm attached to their accounts. I'm gonna take $10 out of your account because you're gonna start paying for the cleaning services that come in here if you're not gonna clean.
I
And
love
you're
that.
You're gonna lower my expense to have
Right.
that done.
Yep.
And another woman offered that in her household her friend's household growing up, if the mother had to go through and like clear up all the stuff because they weren't picking up after themselves, she would do it, pick it up, and if they wanted it back, they had to pay her for it.
Yep. Yep. We did that
Like,
also.
stuff back, now you're gonna pay twice. And I was like, that's brilliant.
Yep.
That's a pain point for them. When I said I'm gonna
Exactly.
start swiping it out of your account, they're like, what? And I'm like, yep. And you're not even gonna feel it because you're so wrapped up in the technology of it, but you will know it because you'll have less to spend.
Yep.
And that's the
exactly.
motivator to get them going. I just need them to understand the value, one, of the dollar, and two, despite me sitting down with them and explaining to them on some general concept, like this is what it takes to operationally be adulting, since you want to be adulting so bad.
Uh-huh.
My choice when they come at me, at every corner with, I need this. And I'm like, nope, if it's not on an experience, then I'm willing to invest in and fund for the family and all of us.
Mhm.
And you better find another way.
Yep. So when my kids
Yeah.
were old enough to understand money and that kind of stuff, and I don't remember what age, let's say 12, I set each one of them down separately and I got out Monopoly money and I said, okay, what do you want to do when you grow up? And whatever it was. And I'm like, all right, the salary is this. And here's your salary. And I gave them a monthly salary. And I said, okay, where are you going to live? And they were like, well, I want a house, or I want an apartment, I want a condo, I want to live in the city or whatever. And I'm like, all right, that rent or mortgage is this much money, give me this much back. And like, tell me what you're gonna eat, how often are you going out, and all the, what kind of car do you drive, and on and on and on. So we went through it. I'll never forget when I do it with my son, because we went through it and we were all the way down to the very end. And he's like, I got like $10 left. And I'm like, do you have a girlfriend? And he's like, well, yeah.
Goodbye.
And I'm like, you just lost all your money, dude. And he's like, I'm not getting a girlfriend. I don't want a girlfriend.
Oh,
Yeah.
now the girlfriend's out.
Oh,
Ten-
Love
With
it.
$10, the girlfriend was gone anyway.
Exactly. It's never enough.
Exactly. But
It's never
it
enough.
really, For him, because it helped him really understand money. For my daughter, I don't think any of it went through her head. I think she just thought the money was pretty colors, God knows what, but it really did impress upon him. And so we just played with it. We're like, well, what do you want to do different? Well, maybe I can go get a better job. All right, let's go look up that job, and then we played through it again. And maybe I don't want to live here. Maybe I want to live here. And maybe I'm not going to drive whatever it was. Maybe I'm going to drive something. So, but it really kind of got through his head, and we played it out for a year. So what we did is we did the first month and how much he wants to save and tithe and all those we figured all that. And then I'm like, all right, month 2, here's your salary. And we started going, and it really kind of got through his head of that's how this thing works, So it was just a fun one to do, but it didn't work for everybody because, like I said, it did not work for my daughter at all. My daughter's like, money comes from the sky.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't think it just magically.
You go to the machine at the bank.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm like,
this is the other interesting thing. Money. Where do you find a bank?
Somebody please tell me a good bank, because I am exhausted with the big banks. I'll
Think
just-
about the
I-
word
I do
bank.
credit unions.
What is a bank? Think about the other meaning for the word bank.
A place to
To
store your
store.
money.
There's, hang on, what was it?
To store your wealth, to store your
Store.
money.
That's one meaning for bank. What is the other meaning for bank? There's another meaning for bank. A river bank.
Yeah.
Oh.
A river bank. What is a river bank? It's what holds the flow of water. The flow of water, just like the flow of money. Money goes to your hands like water. That's what that whole concept underneath it. It's the meaning of words. When you dig down into the roots of words, a bank was by the side of a river where water flowed. Water was commerce. Water was travel. Everybody lived by water, river, whatever, because that's how everything moved. It had to move. Money has to move. So it's just an interesting mind concept to kind of go through the original meanings of words and where we get our words and what they mean. It has to ebb and flow. If it doesn't ebb and flow, if money doesn't come in and go back out again, then it doesn't do anything. Whenever you get money or make money, you have to get money out and get money back in again. That's the way it has to work. It has to flow.
Yeah.
Yep.
I heard
That-
you guys
why-
say, I was listening to this guy a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying, the banks are not for you to save money. If they
No.
were, they would offer you interest. The banks are for loans.
Yes.
Okay,
that is
you
how
want
they
it?
make money.
Okay, Craig, here we go. Listen, ready for this?
Yep.
So on my trip down to Miami next month, I am stopping at Jekyll Island in Georgia.
Mhm.
And there, my girlfriend told me about this Jekyll Island Club Resort, blah, 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 that her cousin was doing a corporate retreat at years ago. She's like, put on your travel bucket list, even if you're stopping for a day, it's kind of. I was talking to another friend of mine this week, and she said, do you know the story behind that? And I said, no. And she said, read The Creature from Jekyll Island. And I found a little clip on YouTube to give me the summary of it. But it talks about how the FDIC and the banks were started.
They went there for a meeting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she's like, it'll change your mind on money. And I'm like, I am disgusted. Let me just say, because you're exactly right, Craig.
Yeah.
It's built to loan and get the interest back so they could live off the interest of the whole system, and had nothing to do with the service or value to the American people saving money.
No.
Jekyll
I
and
was-
Hyde.
And that's why I keep my cash in my house. I'm like, I'm looking for high yield saving interest accounts only. It really gave me pause into terms like, why am I putting it there in the first place? I mean, obviously I have to pay my expenses and some stuff out of it, but other than that, it's not doing anything for me. Unless I
Gary
can
hates
find these
banks.
high yield savings accounts, and I have brokerage accounts and stuff that are set up, and I'm okay on that regard because they're investments that are feeding back at least the money's working for me. But
Mhm.
I was like, I'm stopping overnight in Jekyll Island just to see what ridiculousness was going on down there. And it has the only sea turtle sanctuary in Georgia, so I want to see that too. But I was blown away when I heard the story and I saw that YouTube thing, and I'm like, really, people? What
I
is
am checking that out. That sounds
Devil-
fascinating.
The Creature of Jekyll Island is the name of the book, and if you Google it, you'll find a clip that the author of the book did. It's like I think it's like maybe an hour or two long, and he talks about exactly how the FDIC, the banks and the FDIC was structured.
Oh, and Anna G put in there, listen to Robert Kiyosaki on this topic too. So yeah, he's amazing because he does break stuff down.
Ridiculous.
All right,
I would say that's going to take you down to a rabbit hole that is going to spin your world around, give you a perspective that you never had, and you're going to, it depends on how far you take it. I took it really, really far because I had a really amazing professor that woke me up to this whole idea.
Mhm.
Over like 20 years ago. My life has never been the same. You anticipate and know exactly why things that are happening. You know exactly, and you could actually predict what's going to happen next, except it's not a prediction, it's just your own knowledge of what their real agendas are. So go down that road. It's an amazing book to read. It's a good start if you want to start exposing everything that's taken place. So good going.
love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Man,
Well,
I feel
this
like I'm
is-
so late to the party.
Okay, hang on. You are not too late. Samuel Jackson, who has been in more top grossing movies than any other actor alive, did not begin acting until he was 40. He didn't like get going and like start making, he started his first acting gig at 40. You are not too late.
Tina Turner, man, her whole
Yeah, look at
career
her.
started later. Like her whole,
I mean,
Yeah,
she started
exactly.
younger, but she ditched him and then took off.
exactly. So you're
And
never
took
too
off.
late. The fact that you got here now is a good sign. Good
You
news.
are where,
All
now,
right.
admittedly, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. But we didn't know to plant a damn tree. So the best time to plant a tree is right now today. So just plant your tree. You are not too late.
You still got time.
Exactly. You're welcome. I was 40. What was I? Hang on. I started in 07. So I was 43 when I started real estate. Started it.
We aren't going to talk about those numbers.
I mean, look at me, and I'm still trying to figure it out at my age, and I'm in the last quarter of my life.
And Kay, I noticed you look like you're doing better.
You
Yes,
do.
Oh, I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
my
Yay.
energy's starting to come back.
Good.
Yay.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Absolutely excellent. Very, very cool. This was a very interesting conversation I never know where they're going to go. It's always interesting though. And I learned so much and get so much out of it. I will ship off Gary's thing. And I'll see if I can't. Liz, can you toss over the email of the Creature of Jekyll Island to me, and I'll grab that and toss it out with an email also. And by me, I really mean Ava, darling, can you toss out those two things, please? I'll send them to you. Thank you.
Who should I send it to? Should I send it to your email address and you'll get it to Ava?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll go in there and grab it.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh,
beans.
Gina.
What?
Did Nicole text you?
I don't believe so. Let me see what I got going on here, just in case I missed anything. No.
Okay.
No, my son texted me about, my son has a huge head, and their child, he was joking because they just went in and got the 4-month checkup, and his head circumference is in the 90th percentile. My son's like, now I know for sure he's mine. I'm like, you little shit.
Yeah. I talked to her yesterday. She says she's ready to join the team. So
Yay.
Okay. Yeah, if you want, toss over, if she doesn't text, toss over her stuff. I'm meeting 2 people in person today, so I'm like running around, but I'll try and get to her, and if I don't, I'll get to her on Monday at the very latest, if she doesn't
Gotcha.
text me.
yeah.
Okay, cool beans.
All right.
Have an amazing weekend. my fabulous people that I get to hang with on a regular basis, who I love and adore. You guys are wonderful. The world deserves a lot more of you. So go give it, and you deserve a lot more also. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
You as well.
Guys, have a great weekend. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Have a
Enjoy
great
it.
Bye, everyone.